Okay, this is a hat. It says EECOL, electric, equal electric, and equal is in French. École is means school, so it's the electric school. But it was the closest hat that I could find that said ECCO. It doesn't say ECCO. It says ECO. But ECCO is the Earth Coincidence Control Office, which is in another dimension. And there are beings there that are basically setting you up so that you can have coincidences in your life. Now, the first thing you want to know is, do you want to become an agent of Echo? Well, what does it mean to be an agent of Echo? It means that you're going to help create synchronicities and coincidences for other people. So how do you do that? Well, first of all, you have to know that you are an agent of Echo and you want to create coincidences. Is there anything else you need to know? I think you should have endless curiosity about all kinds of subjects. You should be, I can't remember the name of those things. It's not an iconoclast, but it's someone who is just brilliant in many different areas. So you should be widely read. Hi, Anastasia. You should be widely read. And Anastasia, we're talking about the Earth Coincidence Control Office. So I think she's disappeared. Anyway, so what you have to do is just pay attention to people. Pay attention to what they're wearing. Like if you go into a club and you see somebody and somebody has got something on that catches your eye, you might go over there and, well, I don't know if people introduce themselves this much anymore, but just go over there and stand close to them and see if they make eye contact with you for a second. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but you will have made a move, and that's basically all you need to do to be an agent of Earth Coincidence Control Office. You basically have to be available. So by being available, that's all it means. It means instead of sitting in your corner all night, but I do a lot of the time, you get up and you walk around and you look with your eyes to see if anyone else happens to look at you. If they don't look at you, then you tried. You did your part as being an agent or trying to create a coincidence. But if they do catch your eye, it's very difficult these days because, I mean, it's all over the news that everyone, when you interact with other people, it's like they all come back and bite you in the ass and they said that you've been harassing them. So there's a lot more of that now than when I was young. When I was young, it was no big deal to go up and talk to anybody anywhere, and people did things there that I can't even talk about, and they weren't horrible things. They really weren't. And somehow it's got to the point now, I think everyone is frozen. They're frozen. Everyone is afraid to make any moves on anybody else. So all you get you might get a very weird feeling hug. It's like no one wants to be sexual. If you go to the bar, people are not sexual in the bar like they were 30 years ago. In the bar 30 years ago, people would get drunk and then they'd go over and stagger and, put their arms around somebody's neck and then they'd look up there in their eyes and then they'd plant a big kiss on the side of their face. Nobody does that anymore. Everyone is just frozen. It's like there was a term in sexual education for it was sexist. They said it was women, and they were called frigid. A frigid woman had no sexual response. Well, now it's not just the women and the men have no sexual response. There is nobody wants, like, even if there's a good looking someone that comes up and expresses interest in you, I've seen it time and again, nobody wants to take the bait. It's like, in the past, if a woman came up on to a man and expressed interest, the man would be go, oh, my eyes are rolling around, I'd be so excited. I see it time and again. Women are the ones that are looking now, and the men are just, I don't know if they're scared off. They've got armor, bulletproof armor on, and they don't want to be touched. They don't want to be touched. Maybe the women were doing it for a long time, and now it's the men. But the men don't want to be touched. Well, this is what's happened from so much of this. So much the pendulum has swung so far to the point where people, they don't want to interact with other humans. So, anyway, if you're going to be an agent of Echo, all I ask is that you walk around the room and just look for eye contact. And if there is something, just go closer and see if there's anything that you can say. And then what you're supposed to do, there's going to be something that you know that the other person doesn't know. So you have to be open to whatever subjects happen to just pop into your head and go with it and see if there's any kind of, you give a pulse. In other words, you make some comment, oh, it used to be you would say, oh, you've got cute earrings, but I don't know if people are even, like I said, people are so frozen. They're so frozen that they don't even want to give you a compliment because they're afraid you're going to accuse them of, I mean, I've seen it. I have seen it. I have seen people turn on me. I tell them a joke. I told a girl, she was like 30, at the bar. I said, oh, have you seen any aliens tonight? And she looked at me and she said, no. And I said, well, I'm an alien. She looked at me and I said, I'm a Pleiadian. And she didn't want to follow it up or anything. She got a scowl. She got a scowl on her face, and then later on, she got really bullying to me, and she just took a horrible attitude to me. So, I mean, that's why people are so frozen. They just, stay away. I don't want to deal with human beings anymore. All I want is a dog. Maybe a nice cat, if there's a nice cat, but it's horrible. It's just horrible. It's frigidity and frozenness, and it's all because, well, historically, there's been these big swings between being very open and then going to the other extreme where no dancing, no music, no fun. You can stay at home and study accounting. So let's see, what else does Echo want to talk about? Well, they are a subgroup of the Galactic Coincidence Control Office. So it's not just on planet Earth that beings are in charge of creating coincidences. It's all over the place. And the only other thing that I remember was that they do have a sworn enemy. It's artificial intelligence. So now, when I first, I didn't, everyone was going to be happy with artificial intelligence. And what popped into mind was, like the artificial intelligence of Data, Star Trek The Next Generation, or the Doctor on Star Trek Voyager. I mean, they're as human could be, but still being artificial intelligences. But that's not what we've got here on planet Earth now. What we have got, and even if you go on Facebook or Instagram, you see ads for it, people want you to buy their product, and their product is a bot. It's not a walking, talking robot. It's a bot. It's basically electronic gizmo that is pretending to be a human and wants to chat with you, a chat bot. I think Facebook is gone. There's so much bots on there now. So much bots. It's... I can't tell the difference between a human and a bot. And, you know, there's been times when I've been chit-chatting with old friends that I knew from 30 years ago, and I thought, well, it's the guy's dad that's pretending to be my friend. But, you know, now that I think of it, it could very well be a chatbot. You know, that they stole a picture of my friend, put it up there, and created a phony Facebook account and a phony Messenger account, and I started chatting, and it was a one-way conversation. You know, I'm explaining something that happened, and then I said, do you remember this? Or, oh, not so much. Or, tell me about what happened with this. Oh, I can't remember. I kept getting, I can't remember. Now I think I was talking to a chatbot. It wasn't real. And there's so many people that, you know, seem to have accounts on Facebook, but you can talk to them briefly, and then you try and talk to them again 2 weeks later, and it's like the account's gone dead. There's no response. And it seems to happen so many times when when you get people that you meet and you want to be pen pals with from Facebook groups, and, you know, you can talk to them for a little while. Like I said, 2 weeks later, you try that account again, there's no communication. There's nobody there. So I think Facebook has been hijacked by the Matrix. And the other thing I see a lot is people will post links to things, and it'll say on Facebook, attachment unavailable. So you don't know what they're linking to. So Facebook is actually censoring the real people for what they're putting out. And it's as if, you know, there's just nobody home. So maybe they're trying to put chatbots between real people and they're putting my face on a messenger, and somebody thinks that they're talking to me, but they're talking to a Facebook chatbot. I don't think there's anybody real on Facebook anymore. So what else do we want to talk? Well, that was basically why Earth Coincidence Control Office, their sworn enemy was artificial intelligence. Because the artificial chatbots are pretending to be people, and they're not. And the real people can't get through to other real people. Very strange. I saw the movie Replicas the other day with Keanu Reeves, where they were taking a scan of your mind, and then they were downloading it into... There was all kinds of odd people on YouTube that were saying that movie stars it's been done for quite a few years, and that there's clones of movie stars all over the place, and the royal families and various people. I don't know, it's becoming very weird. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about was a website called Crystal Links. Miss Ellie on Crystal Links. She's been posting metaphysical things for 20 years. And I'm going to say around the time 2011, she made a posting and she said something to the effect of that the hologram is coming to an end. And the only hologram I can think that she's talking about is the idea from the Matrix movies that we're living in a matrix, and that this is Michael Talbot wrote a book called The Holographic Universe way back in the 1980s or very early 1990s. So if we're living in a holographic matrix, and Miss Ellie from Crystal Links thought in 2011 that the matrix was coming to an end, well... I mean, I'm still in some kind of a matrix. It seems to be the same, but there's a lot of things that are weird. I see matrix glitches. Matrix glitches are like last night when I drove over to the karaoke bar. Um, it's not the first time I've seen this lamp, but this street lamp was, instead of being just on, it was being like a strobe light, on and off and on and off. And every day when I drive around in the evening, street lights go on and off when I drive by. The other day, I pulled down a street, and there was a police car that was going. That was, I could see he was going to turn to follow me, and I made the corner, and I looked back to the intersection where he would have been, and he never came. I've seen weird things like too many small Cessna planes. Very small Cessna planes, especially late at nighttime, flying around. Way out in the country. Last summer, I was staying at my friend's cottage on Lake Superior, and in the middle of the night, like 2 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the morning, Cessnas were flying right over his cottage. Right from the lake, over his cottage and back into the bush behind. So I don't think they're Cessnas. I think they are, well, holographic projections, but if they are, I don't know where they're being projected from. Or they are cloaked spaceships or something. There's something really odd. But I see these Cessnas too many times, too late at night, in places where they wouldn't be, and you would never see 5 Cessnas fly over someone's cottage, directly overhead in the middle of the night. Something weird is going on. Let's see, what else can I tell you about? I saw one of those triangular-shaped secret space planes, Aurora Astra. What's it called? It's called Aurora Astra, TRS B or 3 or something. It's a triangle-shaped craft, and I saw it at my friend's cottage last summer with binoculars. I saw another spacecraft that was hanging out by the moon. I knew it was a spacecraft and not a star. I could just see it with my binoculars. Couldn't see it up close enough to see really what it was, only that it wasn't a star. I've seen very weird things with stars that appear early in the evening and take a 15-minute break and come back and the star is gone. So I think they're spaceships. They're pretending to be stars. Yes, it's wow. It's wow. I saw a really weird thing with the moon. At the same time that I saw the spaceship close to the moon, it was like a crescent moon, more than like a sliver moon, but a bigger crescent moon. And I saw a black chunk out of it. It was like, it was a curve of the moon, but there was like a chunk out of the moon. I cannot explain that, only to say that, what we were taught in school, that we live on a globe and that the moon is a round satellite circulating us. I don't think so. I think it's a very good simulation, but there is no way on Earth to explain how a black chunk of the moon got taken out. No way to explain it. Other things, when are the Hot Pockets going to be ready? What's a Hot Pocket? What about med beds? Have you heard of med beds? Med beds was something that... Oh, Christian's here. Oh, now. Okay, so med beds were something that was introduced by Corey Good and David Wilcock and Pete Peterson. Pete Peterson, I think, was the one that said he's actually seen these things. And they are a room that's got some. I'm just changing the side of. I've got an old-fashioned record here. It's Foreigner 4, and this is an original from 1980. I don't know if I can read it. 1981, I think. I don't have my glasses on. I can't see it very well. But Pete Peterson said that these quantum med beds, you lie on them, and Captain Applejacks is checking in for a mother bowl. I just had Chef Boyardee ravioli for dinner. How exciting. Okay, you lie down on a, looks like covered by the scientist, the British scientist Rupert Sheldrake. And it's basically an invisible field that holds everything to do with your physicality. So, you know, the shape of your face and, you know, the size of your arms and how hairy you are, etc., is all in your morphogenic field. And as we age, we seem to lose touch with our blueprint of our morphogenic field, or the morphogenic field is being altered to make us look older. Perhaps that's what's happening. Now that shouldn't happen. If we didn't live in a multiverse that is being manipulated by gray aliens primarily, this wouldn't happen. You would be on a planet and you would have your own personal control. You would be able to shapeshift into different things. But here we are locked into a human form that ages. And that is not because of DNA. It is not because of DNA. It is because we are actively being manipulated by the gray aliens. Okay. Don't know what human giant ship. Okay, so anyway, if you're going into a med bed, you lie down on the massage table, they turn on the machine, and it resets your whole body back to probably like 21 years old. And if you have any diseases whatsoever, they are totally, completely removed. Isn't that wonderful? Everyone would want to go if it was free. But if these things ever appear, if we're still in a capitalist society, it'll probably be $10 million. Only the filthy rich will be able to go. Everyone else will suffer. So that's one of the reasons the cabal that runs capitalism, otherwise known as the syndicates, and money altogether. It's really not needed. It's not used on other planetary systems that are advanced. It's only used here as a control mechanism. And despite what the capitalists are all telling me, it's true. The other places don't use it. The example I used in another video was, do you think that when you die and go to heaven, that St. Peter is going to be looking for a briefcase full of cold hard American currency? No. You don't need money to go into heaven. And I'm sure that once you get into heaven, you do not need money there either. So the afterlife dimension does not use money, and if we are going to reunite the afterlife dimension with the so-called physical earth, we have to get rid of money. So how's that going to happen? Well, anything you need will be provided by ECHO, Earth Coincidence Control Office. So in other words, if I am thirsty and thinking I need a cup of coffee, voila! By the power of ECHO, Earth Coincidence Control Office, coffee will appear. And that is the way it runs on advanced planetary systems. Let's see. So, synchronicity, if you want to get more synchronicity into your life, meditate. Jason Louv, who is the proprietor of the magic site magic.me, said that you should meditate a minimum of 1 hour a day. Christian says he resets himself. Well, I do meditate. Usually what I'm doing is I'm doing self-healing while I'm meditating. But that's if somebody's new on a spiritual path, meditation, and not 10 minutes, it should be an hour, according to Jason Louv. Nothing there, dead spot. That was I don't know what that is. Okay, that's that band that does Cumbersome. Anything else here? Sometimes I just look to see if there's anything interesting that the Coincidence Control Office wants me to know. Bill Clinton. So, okay, I'm going to run with Bill Clinton. Something is up with Bill Clinton. So, what you need to do is just be alert. And if you're, if you go to the Drudge Report sometime the next week and Bill Clinton's name appears, or somewhere in the next little while, be watching for something to do with Bill Clinton. And that's all I want you to do is pay attention. And if you're going to be an agent of Earth Coincidence Control Office, that's what if you agree, if you go to a club or to a coffee shop or something, I want you to keep in the back of your head the word Bill Clinton. So if you meet someone new or somebody you haven't seen in a long time, try to include Bill Clinton into your little blurb of conversation. Anything at all. So Bill Clinton is going to be the key word, and then we're going to see who the person you're talking to, what they come up with regard to Bill Clinton. And that's all I'm going to give you for being an agent of Earth Coincidence Control Office. Bill Clinton is going to be the subject if you get anybody making eye contact with you anywhere. Now, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? I don't have anything else to talk about. So I'm going to end the video now. Thank you, Anastasia and Christian, for watching, and anybody else. Please send me questions, because I do the Oracle. It's another one of my cosmic characters. Contracts. I have no contracts, Christian. I don't do contracts. But I was going to say, if you've got a question, Christian, ask it in the form of a question, and the Oracle will come through and give you an answer. So put something down quickly, because I might not do that, because I will. Okay. Well, I guess we're done. So send in your questions, and the Oracle will examine them and give you something interesting.